What movie fucked you up mentally? Not a movie, but Black Mirror's. Be right back. Episode. I lost my wife in 2011, and I had to stop watching that episode. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I know it's not a movie that would fuck anyone's mind up, but to me it's very relatable and resonates with my life, so I found it very disturbing. When it comes to love, we all can commit the same mistakes over and over again and still want the same suffering, even if the happiness that it brings is just a few percent when compared with the suffering. If given chance, we will destroy our lives for that one person, even if we know nothing good is ever going to come. Her. Again about relationships. It left a void in my mind. Very disturbing and depressing movie to me. Quote. Splice. It really messed me up when I watched it along with my father and former girlfriend, ex. Melancholia. For one, the whole theme of the movie is depression and hopelessness, and there is no benefit. Beautiful movie, but real pretentious, and yeah, no payoff. Hurts from beginning to end. Also, annihilation. That made me question stuff more. The lines of, quote, it was destroying everything, quote, not destroying, changing, quote. This happens in real life too. Except not as fantastical, obviously. Some new organism comes into an environment and takes over, thrives, but stomps out the native species. From there, the environment changes in order to adapt. Is that bad? Or is it just our bias of trying to preserve the natural? It's interesting. Flowers in the attic. I was terrified of my mother poisoning me growing up. Fucked up shit. Nightcrawler. Jake Gyllenhaal as a driven, yet psychopathic and manipulative stringer is really intense. It fucks you up even more when you think about how he still roams freely in the end. Meaning we are all surrounded by such type of people. Saving Private Ryan. As a child, my parents would only allow me to watch Disney movies. And so when everyone was out of the house one night, since they were at my cousin's house was right next door, so they usually always left me alone for a bit. I turned on the TV and Saving Private Ryan came on. Thought it was still a Disney movie and proceeded to watch it. Jesus fuck, my tiny brain wasn't ready for that trauma. Edit. I read almost every one of the comments and want to thank all of you for sharing your experience and sharing your own stories. Very interesting to see other people's views on stuff like this. Synecdoche, New York. Return to Oz. The Disney sequel to The Wizard of Oz. This movie is targeted at children. This movie is fucked up. It starts with Dorothy getting electroshocks in a Bedlam asylum because no one believed in her stories about Oz. Then she returned to Oz. And then she encountered truly horrific monsters like the Wheelers. Fuck the Wheelers. And the big bad is switching heads like you switch dresses and all the heads are alive. And how, my God, how is this movie targeted at children? Oh, old boy. What's eating Gilbert Grape? I grew up in a very similar situation, like, spookily similar, just a lot less good looking. My mother was overweight and I just knew she was gonna die in our old house like that. Scared the shit out of me. Hereditary had me sleeping with the light on for a while. Little nervous about seeing Midsommar. Life is Beautiful. Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. Fucked me up as a kid. Especially the voodoo shit and the cat people. Fuck that movie. God damn. It still scares me to this day. We need to talk about Kevin. Jesus, that movie. The Secret of NIMH. Nightmares as a kid from Asshole Scary Owl. Manchester by the Sea. The scene where he meets his ex and she apologizes while he tries to keep it together hit way too close to home. And also the one in the police station. Great movie though. Baby Affleck is absolutely phenomenal. Oh, and Jaws. It took my 10-year-old ass quite a while to get back in the water. the mist. Fire in the sky. I saw this when I was 8 or 9. I walked into my aunt's room during the operating scene. Anything and everything that dealt with aliens freaked me out. When Unsolved Mysteries and the X-Files theme songs came on, I would lose my mind and become really scared. I watched Blair Witch in my early teens with no concept of what documentary or found footage movie was. In my mind it was all real. The last scene was golden. Salem's Lot. I watched that as a kid. It has a scene where a vampire kid is scratching on a window to get his friend to let him inside. I was scared to death for the longest time about the window in my room this year. I also had a bush outside that, when the wind blew right, would scratch my window. To this day, I also still feel safer when sleeping with my neck covered. Iron Giant. Ruined my life for 5 years. Jacob's Ladder and Enter the Void. Schindler's List. Great movie, but it's disturbing to know it actually happened and wasn't just a screenplay. IDK what the movies is called, I just know Robin Williams was in it. But the story was about a boy who aged way faster than his other friends, some sort of illness. I watched it when I was little and it just traumatized me so much. I can still remember watching the end scene, where the boy looked like a senior even though he just graduated and he looked so sad. Maybe I was just too young to watch this movie. I was about 6 or 7. Edit. Thanks to you all, I now know that the movie is called Jack. Edit 2. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. Event Horizon. Fuck that movie. Watership Down. My parents thought it's just a cartoon movie. Surely fits for an 7-year-old. I still don't want to watch the movie again. And I am turning 29 next Sunday. Pan's Labyrinth. Warning spoiler. I was pissed off for about a week. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And when I did, I started getting irritable with my friends, family, and coworkers. Everyone thought I was nuts. Edit. I added the spoiler tag. I hope it's not too late for someone. Warning spoiler, so that got me all fucked up. Thanks for the silver stranger. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. It didn't bother me for a long time, but I always hated that alien at the party scene in Signs. I was given the movie as a B-Day present long time ago. Trainspotting. I still can't watch any part of it with the baby. A Clockwork Orange. How could it not? Also, Last House on the Left. What a horrific rape scene. I had a full-blown panic attack because of it. The Deer Hunter. The movie just gets crueler and harder to watch. The Fourth Kind. For weeks after watching this, it seemed like I would always wake up at exactly 3:33 a.m. and I was deathly afraid to be outside at night. Say 7N. It wouldn't fuck me up now at 40 years old. But when I watched it at 18, it left me silent and terrified for hours afterwards. Arachnophobia. Watched it when I was 10. Popcorn was never the same after that. Edit. And this is definitely where my intense arachnophobia comes from this year. AI. It left me feeling completely hopeless. Grave of the Fireflies. Best movie I'll never watch again. Good Will Hunting. The part where Robin Williams explains to Matt Damon that although he knows almost everything, he will never know what it's like to look in the eyes of your best friend as he's dying in war, or what it's like to lose a wife to cancer. What Dreams May Come. Saw it once about 8 years ago and it still pops into my head regularly. Edit. Thanks for silver. Kids. Requiem for a Dream. Still get bothered by some of the scenes in that. I saw Cannibal Holocaust twice when I was 16. It was the first movie that made me sick to my stomach. Damn. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Large Marge fucking scarred me as a child. I was like 4 to 5 and all my brother had to do was say her name and laugh and I would fucking Vietnam. Flashback, a panic attack. While I was never genuinely horrified by it or anything, the brave little toaster had some pretty morbid moments. It went from happy, cheesy and generic kids movie to car genocide, killer clowns and themes of becoming obsolete and worthless. It's not the most scarring film out there, but it definitely wasn't what I was expecting for a movie about household appliances. I remember watching Hotel Rwanda as a freshman at my private high school. Embarrassed me because I realized the world wasn't even close to the way I thought it was. Irreversible. What has been seen cannot be unseen. American History X. It was the first time that violence for the sake of racism became real to me. That scene, Norton Stomp, made me realize how fragile life can be, especially when confronted by another human. You know how The Walking Dead was trying to show us that humans are the real monsters. But it got really fucking annoying because like, dude, we get it? This movie makes that point so effortlessly and with such grace. I was fucked up for weeks trying to process the movie. I think I was in high school. The day after. I was a kid back in the 80s when nuclear war between the US and the USSR was a possibility. Still, I didn't think about it often, until one of my elementary school teachers decided to show the class this TV movie. It graphically, at the time, showed the results of a nuclear war on a small town. For weeks afterwards, I thought that every plane flying overhead was a nuclear missile that was going to kill us all. Dead Poets Society. It starts with such a hopeful tone and just completely punches the viewer in the face with reality. Dear Zachary, if documentaries count, edit. Anyone curious about watching it, I strongly urge you not to read any background or synopsis before doing so. Part of the power of this doco is the way the story unravels without any prior knowledge. You wanna feel like shit tonight? Watch The Road. Quote, that is by far one of the most fucked movies I've ever seen. It's best described as a great movie that should never be watched a second time. Lord of the Flies. I watched it when I was like 7 or 8 and when they dropped that rock on the heavyset kid I just started crying. Can still see the whole scene vividly in my head 12 years later. The Green Mile. That about wraps it up for this one. Remember to smash that like button. What did you think? Leave a comment down below. If you want to see more awesome content, hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell so you never miss a video. See you next time.